Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the first American Banker and NayaOne Tech Exchange event. Each month, we showcase up to 6 vetted technology vendors to demonstrate their solutions through concise product demos and targeted Q&A sessions addressing specific business challenges. Today's event is focused on identity verification, fraud prevention, and cybersecurity solutions. I'm Whitney Mitchell, Chief Marketing Officer for American Banker, and I'll be your host for today's event, which is presented in partnership with NayaOne. Fideo Intelligence offers AI-powered real-time identity verification and fraud prevention, helping banks, financial institutions, and platforms reduce risk, cut costs, and prevent synthetic identity fraud. Today's demo will showcase Fideo Verify, which provides an AI-powered unified series of real-time risk checks through a single API call to help banks, financial institutions, and financial platforms verify identities proactively, preventing synthetic identity fraud.
I'm Chris Harrison, CEO of Fideo Intelligence. With me today is our CTO, Ken Michie. He's going to be showing you Fideo Verify. So fraudsters are no longer working alone. They're using AI to scale attacks, outpace traditional defenses, costing financial institutions over $12 billion last year alone. Fideo Verify meets AI with AI. In a single API call, Verify makes hundreds of fraud checks in 8 categories of fraud attacks in milliseconds. Our business model is different. We have a flat per session pricing with unlimited checks, saving you money on your fraud prevention. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ken. Ken's going to show you how Fideo Verify works with a simulated digital bank onboarding flow. Ken, over to you.
The fraud.
Right. Thanks, Chris. Let's see, I think I'm sharing here. So why don't we get started? So just to kind of orient you to what you're looking at here, this is a demo application that we've put together around Verify. It's easier to understand what we can do through a user interface. And today we'll use it to go through our onboarding example that Chris was alluding to. So on the right, we've got the simple set of screens that we'll walk through that will simulate having a real person go through the onboarding flow. As we click through, we'll have different input boxes populated over here that again will influence our demo. And then below, we've got a summary section that gives us an overall risk gauge, and it's got all the different checks that were run and the ones that flagged as high, medium, low. And then these are those 8 different packages that Chris was talking about. And then you'll see all the different checks that we run through each of the package types. So why don't we get going? So up top here, we've got our first character. Her name is Maria. Maria is generally a fairly low risk person and would be a great addition to any bank. But unfortunately, her identity was just leaked onto the dark web. And a hacker that we will call Ivan Darkov has taken note. Ivan is going to try and create an account as if he's Maria, but he's not. And we'll see how far he can get. All right. So why don't we go ahead and just clear these out and kick off the demo. So the first thing that happens, Ivan logs on, or I should say, visits the website, and we have the ability to capture an IP address. Now, we all know IPs are not the perfect place to start with fraud detection, but it's a good place to look for certain signals. So let's go ahead and see what Verify says. So right off the bat, we pass the IP address in, and Fideo says, hey, this looks like a Tor exit node. Now, fraudsters are always looking for new ways to hide their tracks, and so this is no different. The Tor network is where a lot of dark activity occur, but they very well could have used a VPN or a data proxy. So that's our first indicator here. And typically, the bank would actually abort the process, ask the person to come in to the bank themselves and start the onboarding there. But this is a demo, and we're going to see how high we can get this this risk score. All right. So going on to the next screen, it's going to prompt for the phone number and then the name. Well, Ivan is going to go ahead and put in Maria's name. He's not going to put in Ivan, obviously, but he will use a phone that he has just created using Google Voice. All right. And so let's go ahead and see what Fideo says here. So we'll pass that through, and our risk score is starting to climb. So not only do we still have the high risk IP, but now we've got another check that is flagging here which is that we detected that the phone is a VoIP phone. All right. And so these are less verifiable because they can be created by anyone and tend to be used in more disposable scenarios. All right. So, but again, for the demo's sake, we're going to keep going. So Ivan gets the SMS code to that phone. He puts in the digits and then, gets on to the next stage. So the next step is requesting his email. So he's going to go ahead and put in an email, but you may notice there's a slight nuance here. There's a 1 being added to Maria's real email. So this is an email that looks very similar to Maria's, but it's actually one that he just created for this scenario here. So let's go ahead and see what Fideo Verify says. So we'll pass that through, and again, the risk gauge continues to climb. So, and in this case, we can see that the email address has never been seen before. And so an email without much of a history can be a higher risk email. It could be a sign that it's more disposable, even if it's deliverable, which in this case it is, and it has an MX record. So it looks valid otherwise. All right, and then we'll move on to our final stage here, where Ivan is then prompted to put in an address and then a date of birth. And again, since he's trying to simulate being Maria, he's going to put in her information with her real address and her real birthday. And so as we hit submit here, we'll see the risk gauge climb up to 98. And then we'll see a few more things climbing or coming in too. So the first is that we now have more information around geography to key off of. But then we also can key off the fact that the email and phone do not match Maria from what Fideo believes to be true. And that is truly a sign of a potential synthetic identity being created right before our eyes. And so all this together, we've been able to set through a bunch of different steps and climb up to 98. I guess that's as high as we'll go today. But just to kind of give you a quick overview, again, these are all the checks that we were running on every single API request. And then in the response, you get all of these checks below. And so you've got the risk score and each of these keyed by an identifier. And so these are great for machine learning and AI training scenarios if you wish to key off specific things or build your own model. And so that's that. That's Verify in action. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ken. So just in a few minutes, you saw how robust Fideo Verify is, giving you real-time AI to bolster your defenses. We just ask you try us for free, put us head-to-head against your current system. You'll see stronger detection at a lower cost. So thank you all for your time. We appreciate it.